Hello and welcome to Healthcast by Happiest Health. Whenever anybody goes for weight loss, the first thing that comes into their head is eliminating roti or rice from their diet. But is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to miss out on your favorite foods? Does that really work? To answer these questions, we have registered dietitian Sonia Velarasan from Transdisciplinary University, Bengaluru. Hello Sonia, welcome to the podcast.
Hey Archita, thank you so much for inviting for this podcast.
Great. So let's dive straight in and tell us why we eliminate rice and roti. Because that's the pattern we have observed, that even gym trainers and the health consultant people, health experts also say that eliminate rice and roti. But why, and is it really worth it?
Right. So when you look at the rice and roti, both of them are carb sources, right? And it is a whole grain. Like if you compare the roti, it's more of the whole grain, and the amount of nutrients which is present is almost similar. So let's, for example, if you give a medium-sized roti, medium-sized roti, and you compare it with 100 grams of rice, both of them are going to have around, let's say 18 grams of carbs, and this is going to have 19 to 20 grams of carbs. So almost there is not much of a difference in the carbohydrate content. But when you look at the fiber content of the rice, it's a bit lower when you compare to the wheat, that is the rotis. So that's where it plays. So what happens is when you eat more of fiber, you feel satiated at a very early stage. And you get satiated only by eating 1 or 2 chapatis. But wherein when rice is eaten, let's say 1 katori, that would be like 30 grams of rice is going to give you triple tax, that is around 90 to 100 grams of rice. So that might not be sufficient for you to digest, and since it's low in fiber, that can actually lead you to more of hunger. So that is again one of the difference. But if you had to choose what would be a better option, then it's totally depending on how are you going to combine your staple food, that is rice or the roti. So let's say you take 1 chapati, you need to combine them with some amount of protein, that is 1 katori of dal, and some amount of fiber as well, that will come from the vegetable. So when you look at the calories of 1 chapati and 1 cup of rice, so 1 chapati, let's say it's around 6 inch to 8 inch, would give you around 90 to 100 kilocalories. Whereas 1 serving of rice, that is let's say 1 cup, that would be giving you 150 to 200 grams of rice, would give you around 242 kilocalories. Right? So here is the difference. The rice and chapati, the portion size. So I am somebody, if I can eat 1 chapati, I can feel full. But if I do have just 1 small katori of rice, it's not going to keep me full. So I will tend to eat more of rice, and that's why they call the rice as a culprit. But that's not the correct thing to say, because when I'm going to combine my rice with some of the vegetables and dal, then 1 katori of rice will be totally fine. So here the key point is the portion size that you're going to take for rice and chapati, because both of them are not the evil here. Even if you are going to skip your rice or chapati, that is not going to help you lose on weight. There are other strategies to lose on weight. So there is something called as calorie deficit diet. So what do you mean by this calorie deficit diet? So that just means that let's say your body requires around 1600 kilocalories. You are not supposed to eat that much of your calories. You have to eat lesser than that. So if my body requires 1600 kilocalories, I would be eating only 1200 or 1300 kilocalories in a day, right? And how does this actually work? So what happens when you are not eating more of calories? Your body will start utilizing the fat which is present in your body as the energy source, instead of using the carbohydrate, or instead of using the energy that you get from the carbohydrate. So your body will start using fat as an energy source. That's how most of these ketosis diet or ketogenic diets or intermittent fasting, calorie deficit diet actually works, right? So stating that the calorie deficit diet is alone not going to help you, but you have to definitely do some form of exercises so that your muscle lipolysis actually improve, your fat mobilization actually improves. So how do you do that? You just have to go for a walk or do exercise which is called as HIIT. That is doing exercise like for just a few seconds, like let's say for 20 seconds you do some crunches, and that's the speed and the intensity is really high. So doing such kind of exercises would actually make you utilize the fat which is present in your body and convert that to energy. So that's how your physiology will actually work when you look at the weight loss program.
But I mean, I hear you, but rice and roti is staple, especially in India. It's part of everyday meal 3 times a day. Yes. So for some people, it is non-negotiable. They're like, okay, fine, we don't want to lose weight. We cannot give up on rice or roti. So do we have any options for them?
Yeah, so when you ask me options for rice or rotis, okay, so let me give you a few alternatives, right? So white rice, as I told you, is the highly processed type. When you compare to other forms of rices, the white rice is the polished, right? And it's not a good idea if you you have to consume 3 times in a day if you want to lose your weight. So what would be the other option? You have a lot of other varieties of rice. Like for example, you have brown rice, which is having a bran to it, and it has more fiber as well as micronutrients. Then you have unpolished rice, which can be in any form. You have red rice. Then you also have black rice. So all of these rices are rich in fiber, and it is made up of complex carbohydrates. So I would not ask you to totally skip your white rice, but include the rice which is actually, for example, the brown rice or the black rice. So that would be a better option rather than choosing a white rice. Whereas when you look at the wheat varieties, so in our initial ancient times, we used to have only long-grained wheat. That's called as khapli or emmer wheat. We still do the cultivation of emmer wheat. So if you have an access of choosing a wheat which is a long grain, like for example khapli wheat or an emmer wheat, please go for that, because that is having lesser carbohydrate as well as it's a complex carb, and the amount of glucose spike when you eat a short grain variety of wheat and when you eat a long grain variety of wheat, there's a lot of difference. So better to choose a long grain variety of wheat, because that's going to have a good amount of result in your weight loss journey. So emmer wheat would be a better option, then khapli wheat would be a better option, or the other forms of the cereal. That is, we have the millets, we have pseudo cereals like quinoa, etc. There are a lot of other varieties as well. But I would say not to totally omit the wheat, just change the grain. That is go for a longer grain instead of a shorter grain.
Great. There are a couple of more food items which people always confuse which one to choose when they're going for weight loss. So I'll give you a couple of food items and please tell us which one is better and what should people go for and maybe why. One of the most common things is quinoa and dalia. They look very similar, they are very nutritious, but should we choose?
Yeah. So the concept of this, quinoa is actually westernized, and quinoa is basically a pseudo cereal, right? And the barley is nothing but the broken wheat. That's the dalia, right? So dalia is being mentioned in our historical texts, and it is actually originated from India. So if you are, a little bit compromising on you've compromised on your economic status, then I would ask you to go for barley. That is the dalia or the broken. And if you're economically fit, then I would suggest you to go for a quinoa. But when you look at the nutritional profile of the quinoa and the barley, the quinoa is having higher protein, and fiber is also a little bit higher when you compare to the barley. Barley is low in protein, but it is having a complex carbohydrate. So as an Indian, I would suggest you to go for a barley, because that would be the best choice if you are on a weight loss journey.
And I think it will suit the geographical conditions as well.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. Definitely choose your geographical situation. That's true.
Okay. The second one is skimmed milk or full fat milk.
Right. So skimmed milk is nothing but they skim off the fat from the whole milk, that is full fat cream milk, and you get the same amount of protein. So skimmed milk is going to give you the same 6 or so 200 ml is going to give you 6 grams of protein. 200 ml of the full fat cream is going to give you 6 grams of protein. So what's the difference? It's just the fat. So if you are on a weight loss journey, then I would suggest you to go for a skimmed milk for sure.
Okay. And another food item which people often confuse between is honey and jaggery.
When you look at the honey is a natural sugar, that is, we get it from the nectar, right? And jaggery is a minimally processed sugar which has good amount of minerals in that when you compare to the white sugar, that is a refined sugar. So if you ask me to choose between them, I would suggest both, because 1 ml of honey or 1 gram of jaggery is going to give me 9 kilocalories. There is same amount of carbohydrate which is present in both of them, and your body is not going to be like I have eaten honey, so that's not going to spike your sugar levels or something like that, because our body will take any form of sugar in the same way, whether you're having a honey or a processed sugar, that is a refined sugar, or a jaggery. So all of these sugars are going to be taken in the same perspective. So there's no competition between both of them. You can go for anything, but the key here is you'll have to use it in a very moderate way, not go above the limits. But when you compare honey and jaggery with the white sugar, then definitely you can choose either of this, that is honey or jaggery. Try to avoid the refined sugar.
Does that sugar-free tablets which we get in stores really work? Like, are they really sugar-free?
Yes. So I will not say it's a sugar-free, but it is something like artificial sweeteners, they call it as. So our Food Drug Authority, they have approved a few artificial sweeteners, like for example aspartame, saccharin, etc., sucralose, all of these. So these are actually approved by FDA, and you can actually include them if you are a diabetic. If you are somebody who's on a weight loss journey, then I would not suggest you to go on consumption of the artificial sweeteners, because there are a lot of research which says that if you are going to use all of these artificial sweeteners for a longer time, that can actually cause a gut issue for you. Your gut permeability is going to be a big issue for you, and your metabolic also will be going down if you're going to take a lot of artificial sweeteners. So for somebody who is on a weight loss journey, then it's not a good option. The only difference between a normal sugar and artificial sweetener would be the calories. So 1 gram of sugar is going to give you 9 kilocalories, but 1 gram of this the artificial sweetener is going to give you 0 kilocalories. So compromising on just the calories is not going to actually help you. So I would not actually suggest to go for an artificial sweetener, but you can go for the normal, our sugar in the form of honey or brown sugar or a jaggery. That would be a better choice, because the artificial sweeteners are also a little bit costlier when you compare to the other forms of sugar.
You mentioned about gut problem if you consume a lot of artificial sweeteners. This should apply to people with diabetes as well, right?
Yeah, that's true. So actually that's true, because there are a lot of longitudinal study that has been done which suggests that if somebody who's a diabetic patient and who takes the artificial sweeteners for a longer time can actually have gut dysbiosis, and they'll have a lot of gut issues that can cause them acidity and other issues like in their bowel movements. Also their metabolic is going to be disturbed, and because it's something artificial, it's not a natural form of a sugar. So any of these are in a long run will be definitely a no-no for you. But in case you're somebody who's literally craving for something very sweet and you want to have once in a while, then you can just have a a small tab of the aspartame or saccharin, anything that you wish.
Okay, great. I hope listeners will get a better choice. I mean, they can make a better decision to avoid roti or rice, or should they go for both? We talked about portion size. We talked about minding how much calories they are eating, because that's the key to weight loss, not what you are eating. I think that's what we discussed. Thank you so much, Sonia, for making time and talking with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting.